Do I need heavy tripods and backpacks to get great landscape photographs? Get your links and discount codes for the bag and Monopod I with KentFaith in the description. But first watch this video. It's light and fast photography for you. Well, hello, good morning. Today's all about travelling light and fast in the landscape and really seeing if I can dispense with the heavy camera gear that I carry about in favour of working with some light gear and moving through the landscape as quickly as I can. I've actually had to slow down my walking pace a bit just to try and talk to you guys. And the reason that I'm moving so fast today, and it's a good day to try out this new gear, is that there's a huge storm coming down to the UK and I want to get out and scout a location, try and capture some last bits of this autumn colour that we've got if it's possible, and visit a location that I've been before. So what have I actually got with me today? Well, today I'm actually using a small 10-litre bag from K&F Concept. I've also got one of their monopods and one of their ball heads as well, which I've just fitted very quickly this morning in the van and packed the bag up. I've got room for just one camera body today and one lens on it. It's squeezed into the bag, but I'm also wearing my outdoor vest, which I haven't done for a while, and I've managed to pack in some spare camera batteries, cards, and also of course I've got some little basic things like filters and lens cloths, cleaning wipes, etc., just so we can keep going. And because of this impending storm that's bearing down on us, I may not make it back in time. So I've also managed to get some waterproofs in here as well. But I'm going to crack on, get to the first site, and then we'll talk a little bit more about what I'm actually trying to achieve today. I've just been trying to take a picture of some of that remaining autumn colour, and I've come up against one of the disadvantages of really moving fast and light, and it's with lens selection. So I've got my 24 to 105 lens with me today. Normally I'd have my 70 to 300 as well, but of course I haven't got enough room to carry that, and carrying heavy lenses about defeats the whole object of what I'm trying to do. So I've tried taking an image. I'll put it up on the screen for you, but I really wanted to get in much closer and just have a pattern picture of these beautiful yellow leaves against the tree. Now of course I could zoom in, you know, digitally, and I could crop in a lot closer, but it's not really working for me. I'm not really feeling it. So I guess I just need to compromise and find some other subjects. I think I probably can see one which I'm going to head over towards now. So let's go and have a look at that. One of the things I was hoping to do today with having this faster, lighter approach to photography and using the monopod and the bag from K&F Concept was to really get out there and sort of do a little bit more creative work to scout a few more different things and take photographs I wouldn't normally have taken. And as I've just seen, trying to get something with the 24 to 105 lens and nothing else, maybe it's restricted my creativity, but you know what? Also, I think that restriction also helps. Just now I captured this photograph, taking it stood over the top of a small wooden bridge. I wouldn't normally have been able to stand there and put the tripod up. I wouldn't have had the monopod with me, and it just wouldn't have been possible to take this image. So being able to get into positions which I wouldn't normally be able to get to has allowed me to take something a little bit different. Hopefully it's going to come out. I'll put up the photograph for you now so you can have a look at it. Whilst I set up this next picture, because I'm really quite excited about this one. Yeah, hopefully it's going to work. I think I've managed to find a relatively good composition. Do you remember I said I wanted to capture that last of that autumn leaves and the last of the colours? Well, I've got an image which I think really does that for me. I'm in quite a bit of woodland here where there's not a lot of leaves left on the trees. There's a lot of fallen leaves in front of me leading up to a couple of trees, and right in distance in between these two trees, which is giving it a nice sort of sense of depth, I can see a couple of spindly trees with a few yellow leaves left on them. And that's looking really quite nice. What I have found is, although I guess walking around with the monopod, it's been quite easy to move things left and right a little bit and move about, more so than I would with a tripod. I think with a tripod you're sort of set down in that location, and once you're there you don't tend to move about much. But one of the problems I have found is that trying to get everything squared up has been quite hard, and I've just had to take some photos again because I'm not even sure I got the foreground in that I wanted, because I was so concerned about trying to line the tree up, and looking at the whole viewfinder and everything at the whole time has proven to be a little bit difficult. So maybe with some real detailed photograph, when you're trying to put some real effort into getting your compositions perfected, the tripod works a little bit better for that, because you can step back and have a look at what you're doing. Nevertheless, I think this has really worked well. And the first bit of the experiment for walking about and seeing if it can boost my creativity, and if by working in a slightly different way I can find new images and use this for scouting, it's worked exceptionally well. But I do have a concern. I have a concern about the quality of the images that I'm producing. Now, I've got a location in mind that I really want to get to and photograph, and I just hope I can do justice to that location using this setup. Time to move on again. I'm not overly excited by this photograph, but it does achieve what I intended in the field. Maybe I'll edit it again with a tighter crop. So why would quality be affected by using lightweight camera gear? I mean, effectively you're using the same camera. It's got the same number of pixels, the same features and the same functions as it had when you're carrying it around in a heavy bag with a big tripod. Well, it comes down to the way that you actually work. One of the things that I like to do when I'm shooting moving water, whether that's out in the woodland like we are today or out in the coastline, is to try and get the very best sort of use of that shutter speed to get that nice fluid movement. Now, I don't like cotton wool type water where you can't see any texture at all. I sort of like a little bit of drive, a little bit of drama, still a little bit of gritty texture in it, just so it stands out. But that still means working at a slow shutter speed. So one of the concerns I got about using the tripod is that, can I get slow enough and still get a sharp, crisp image? Because I don't want everything else around it moving. I just want to really know that when I take the picture using this camera, that I'm going to get a sharp picture and that nice flowing water. So I'm actually going to try a bit of an experiment. I've actually switched on the stabilizer on the camera, on the lens, sorry. And the image stabilizer is going to give me a few extra stops. Now, I've got a problem with that as well. I've got a little bit of a concern. Is it going to be enough movement to enable that to work? Or is it going to cause a little bit of blurring in the image that I didn't expect? So I guess I'm going to have to take several versions of those photographs. But for now, we're going to sort that out. The other thing I've done with this image, I'll just talk you through the composition as well before we think about moving on and doing anything else. So I've got the water flowing away in front of me. I wanted a bit of dark on the left, right hand side. I want it balanced with the left hand side as well. So I'm just holding the tree in on that left. I'm careful about where the water's entering the frame on the right hand side and on the left. And to be honest, making these really small adjustments, moving the camera about, you might be able to see it in the video that I've put up, is that actually everything's wobbling and moving around. That doesn't necessarily make it that easy to compose, because when you're making fine adjustments with the monopod and the camera's moving everywhere, it's hard to get back to those exact setups, especially like when you're bracketing a number of images. So there's certainly some disadvantages with using light and fast gear, but there's many advantages as well. One of them is I actually got here in record time before the weather changes. So let's get these images done. Oh, there's just one more thing. So just before I take these photographs as well, what's making that shutter speed even slower is the use of the polarizing filter. Now, by using the polarizing filter, you can probably see that I'm just managing to sort of darken those rocks down in the foreground, cut down some of the reflections, and make sure that we've got a good sort of contrasty image with plenty of detail in it, which is going to be really important. So I'm going to get these images taken now, and I'll put the image up on the screen that I actually end up with going for in the end. Let's see what this comes out like. I'm pleased with my final photograph. The composition worked well, and in the end I was able to compose the image using the monopod and the ball head from K&F Concept. So fast and light photography works. It's certainly a great way to travel and on days out with friends and family. Subscribe for more passion, more skills and more knowledge from me. Then get out and enjoy your photography.